Jai Shri Mataji. Let's bow down to Shri Mataji, raise our Mother Kundalini and put Bandhan. Shri Ganesh Mantra. Let's keep both our hands on the floor. Our attention on Muladhara Chakra. Shri Mataji, you are Sakshat Shri Ganesha. Please remove all the imbalances in our Muladhara Chakra through the earth element. Let's bring our right hand back on the lap. left hand on our liver, Shri Mataji, kindly give us pure attention. Now let's bring left hand back on the lap, right hand on our left heart. Shri Mataji, by your grace, I am a pure spirit. Now let's put our right hand on our Sahasrara. Shri Mataji, kindly give us the thoughtless awareness state. Let's bring our right hand back on the lap. With our attention on Sahasrara, let us listen to Shri Mataji's speech.
We are here, all of us, to celebrate a 4-day festival called as Diwali. Diwali, it comes from the word Deepali in Sanskrit. The word Deepa means the light and Ali means the line, the rose. Now, there are many things that have happened during these 4 days, and that's how it is celebrated with such a great enthusiasm. The first thing is the day of the Lakshmi's birth. That is the 13th day of the moon, day as they call it. Is the real day when Lakshmi was born out of the sea. That's why she is called as Miriam or Mariam. Word Mari or marine also comes from the word sea. So she is born out of the sea. She is created out of the sea. And the wealth of the sea so far, thank God, human beings have not yet exploited. But they may one day start doing that also. And a lot of wealth is still there. So when people start getting worried about exhausting the Mother Earth, you must know that sea is much more than the earth is. So nothing is exhausted. Still there's such a lot reserved for you, and one should not worry. Thank you. As to the supply of wealth that can come from the sea. Now this Lakshmi is the goddess who stands on the lotus. She represents all the well-being, the wealth, the glory of wealth, the decoration of wealth, whichever is auspicious. Whatever is not auspicious is not wealth, according to Sahaja Yoga or according to any scripture. It is not wealth at all. So she is a lady who stands on a lotus, showing that a person who has got wealth has to be a person who doesn't assert his pressures on people, who doesn't push people around, who doesn't pressurize. And then she's a lady, she's a mother. So, wealth is the first opening to our seeking. But when you start seeking the wealth, you realize that the superficial wealth that you are seeking is not sufficient, is not going to give you complete joy. So you start seeking the deeper wealth. As I said that on the Mother Earth you have exploited all that is possible, still there deep down in the sea, a lot of wealth is still there. So then the seeking moves towards the deeper seeking. So the same Lakshmi becomes Mahalakshmi. When you start expanding yourself to higher and deeper valuable things, then this Lakshmi doesn't lure you much. She is just there for your glory, but not for your satisfaction. The wealth is there for distribution. You enjoy there's no word for dan, I think. Oh, generosity. But generosity is different. But what I'm saying, generous fondness. It's a fondness, you see, that you should be generous. Sometimes is a very great happiness and joy that you feel. That is the greatest when you are generous, when you give away. That's a fondness. That's a kind of a human expression of one's own being, that you want to be generous. And this generosity only can come when Mahalakshmi principle is born in you. But at Lakshmi principle also, she stands like this. Her hand is like this one, as giving. And the another is like this. So miserliness is not a sign of wealth. I mean, if you are miserly, that means you are not wealthy. If you are really wealthy, why will you be miserly? A simple equation is there. That means if you are really wealthy, you will just give away. If you cannot give away, then you are poor. You are a beggar. You are still hankering after that. That means you are still a beggar. You are hankering for it. So this left hand she is giving all the time. And with the right hand she protects people. She gives protection to people. The wealth must give protection to people in the way it must look after the well-being of others, not your own self-indulgence, like having all the best things to yourself while others are starving. That's not a sign of a wealthy man. A wealthy man is a person who knows that unless and until he shares his things with others, he is not going to be happy ultimately. For the time being, he may be. People live with imbalances, they live with wrong ideas. But ultimately they have to correct it. If they do not correct this, there are problems. Then there's upheaval, lots of changes come in. People start seeing that, oh, this doesn't work out, that doesn't work out. The children run away from the houses, the family goes into problems, all sorts of things happen. And then they realize, this is the reason. I have been very miserly. I have not been generous. I have not been using money for the sake of others. Now after coming to Sahaja Yoga, you become a divine person. Definitely you become divine. You are now a divine personality. You are not a human personality. So you have to give up all that is human within you. Then only you will be fully divine. But it's very difficult. That's the problem is that it is very difficult to really accept that you are divine and that you have to take divine policies and divine attitudes and divine temperament. Now the divine temperament is generous. It is not bothered as to what happens next. It's not bothered because it is connected with the source. If you give one, you will get 100. It is sure about it. And to a divine person, worldly things have no meaning if they cannot give pleasures to others. A person who is very self-indulgent, always bothered about himself, is not a divine person at all. In no way he is divine. It's very common, it's human. Everybody does that. Everybody is self-preserving. But after Sahaja Yoga, you do not start all this nonsense again. You give it up. And who looks after you? Who looks after your self-preservation? Is God Almighty. You are now completely dedicated to Him and He looks after you. You don't have to worry as to how to look after yourself, how to do this, how to do that. It is His work. The more you go on worrying about yourself, the worse it will be. The moment you give it up, it is looked after. Many Sahaja Yogis must have experienced it in their lifetime, that when they try to give it up, they get all the help from God. But whenever they try to assert and worry about their well-being and things like that, then there is a problem. We don't know from where the help comes. Now we have had so many examples, so many so-called miracles, where people wanted to do something and suddenly they got the money from somewhere they least expected. So, for a divine person, the attitude should be of giving and of protection. Protect. Now, we are very good at protecting our bhoots and protecting others who are bhoots. You see, the sympathies always go to bhoots because they have a way of creating a sympathetic attitude in your heart. So you start looking after that person because that person looks so much miserable, you see. You have to protect the saints. You have to protect the principle of God, the divinity in others, and not the booths. You are not here to care for all the booths of the world. So the idea of Lakshmi must be understood in a proper way. In Sahaja Yoga, it's a very different thing from all other people know about, like charity. Like people say now we must be charitable, start a charitable organization, in that you look after this kind of people, that kind of people. We are not bothered. That's not you are given realization for, to look after every sort of a person. You are here to look after all the saints and all born realized children. And you are not to bother about people who do not matter to God and divine. When they come to realization, if they get realization, if they become saints, all right. But you don't worry about every Dick, Tom and Harry on the street. Oh, mother, he's so miserable and this and that. So the charity must be understood in a divine light. And the divine light will give you discretion to understand whom to be charitable. You have to be charitable to your brothers and sisters. You have to be kind to them. Now you will say, what about worrying about mother, people who are starving, who are this? That's not your headache. Why should you do their jobs? We are all good at doing others' jobs. For example, you are driving in the car. Oh, look at this. There should have been this properly done, that they should have done properly. But that's not your job. Why should you waste your energy in finding out what the others should have done it? You should do what you have to do. And don't waste your energy in these things. See, all these charitable institutions, I have seen those people who work there are very difficult for realization. This is the proof of the pudding. Because to whom to do the charity? If there is no other person, you do not do charity to anyone. I mean, sitting down here, I can do charities to people so-called, which are not charities, they are part and parcel of my being. I just do it because they are part and parcel of my being. I don't have to go all out to sacrifice something to do charity. Because that's nothing but ego pampering and ego oriented. Oh, I have helped this man. And how dare he say such a thing? So this is one quality of the divine. One should know that it is generous. It is generous to a fault. To a fault. It is generous because it is generous. It is not bothered. It doesn't reason out itself. Why should I be generous? It is generous because it is. Because it's the whim, it's the fondness. The fondness of generosity is such as you have fondness, say, people have fondness to drink, for example, let's see. That's not fondness, that's a habit, I think. But you can say some fondness people have. What kind of a fondness you have without forming a habit, I don't know. Because you always have a habit and then the fondness. But supposing you just have a fondness. For example, you are fond of, say, good food, let us take it. Now, if you have fondness of good food, then you will just do it because you are fond of it. Now somebody says, why are you fond of good food? I said, I am just fond. Finish. Who are you to ask me such a question? If somebody is fond of generosity, he will be generous whether you like it or not. And it is sometimes, to a reasonable man, may look to be a bit too much. The greatest generosity a human being can do is to forgive. I mean, it's not generosity to others, but to yourself. If you forgive others, you are generous to yourself. First of all, be generous to yourself. That is, you forgive everybody else. If you forgive everybody else, then you are not tortured by them. You spare yourself from their tortures. This is a generosity towards yourself. Towards yourself, the greatest generosity is that you do not bear any malice. or bitterness about anyone, but clear-cut ideas that he's like this and he's like this. Just a clear-cut idea, but no reaction out of it. Somebody is a man, say he's Bhutish. Alright, he's a Bhutish fellow, we know he's a Bhutish, keep yourself in bandhan, but don't have a reaction out of that. Then you have really forgiven everyone. Forgiveness gives you a big kavacha, is a big bandhan, is a gift protection. We can say a shield from all kinds of evil that others can put on you. Just forgive them. And then you see what happens to them. You just try this trick. Just forgive. And see what happens to others who try to torture you. Of course, Divine never wants to torture anyone. That is definite. It never wants to torture. It is extremely generous. It likes to forgive. It enjoys its forgiveness. It really enjoys. Generosity is to be enjoyed in the same way forgiveness is to be enjoyed. It's very enjoyable. When you forgive others, it's the most enjoyable thing is that you see the play. You become the witness. So the Mahalakshmi Tattva, when it develops into you, first of all you have to forgive if somebody has borrowed money from you, has not returned. Doesn't matter. It's very difficult for people to forgive people who borrow money and don't give. And beyond that, it's also another problem that if you lend some money to somebody, then run away from that person. Because even to give is easier, but take is even worse. A person who takes money from you will never forgive you all your life because you have lent money to him. So one has to understand that when you become divine, you just give. You just give. This is Mahalakshmi Tattva. Mahalakshmi Tattva is that you give. Don't worry about what is the result, how others react to it, what happens to it, what is the ultimate result, and what you achieve out of it, and how the person has taken. Just give. That is Mahalakshmi Tattva. But when I say give, also must use discretion. That is the part we always forget. You see, Sahaja Yoga must teach you discretion. That is the divine thing. Divine is the most discreet thing. Now, when I say give, I know people will just start running on the street, finding out somebody where you can give something. You don't have to run about to find out somebody that you should give something to someone. No need. It's just flowing. It's just flowing. Wherever the chance is, just try to give material things, something kind words, sweetness, comfort, but never give one thing, which I sometimes do by mistake. Never give advice. That's a very dangerous thing. You can give bandhan, you can beat the person at his back with shoes, but never give an advice in words. That is one of the principles of Sahaja Yoga for the time being. Because giving advice, you know what it means. You may have a boxed nose or something. It's a very dangerous thing. So best is, on that part I would say, as advice is concerned, you have so many ways and methods of handling a situation. So better not speak about it, just handle it in complete silence. Whatever you have to do about a person, just handle him without talking to that person. The more you try to convince the person, the worse he will get. Because they are not divine. They haven't reached that divinity. It's a special. They are special type of people. You see, who cannot become divine. And you do not break your necks with them. Also don't give advice to other Sahaja Yogis. Everybody at this stage thinks that they know all about Sahaja Yoga. It's all right, good idea. Very good idea. But never try to tell them what they should do, what is good for them, unless and until they come and ask. Now, this Mahalakshmi Tattva, when it goes into collectivity, what happens? That you learn that you have to just give and you don't worry about the receiving. As Krishna has said, Karmanyeva adhikaraste paleshu ma kadachi. Our job is to do the karmas and we are not to worry about the phala. Just try to give whatever is possible to everyone, vibrations, realization. I know it is wasted so many times. You give realization, it is waste. It's like, you see, the seeds that are thrown on the rocks. Yes, I know, it is. So many times I have wasted thousands of them. But doesn't matter, you give them. It is not you are giving them for their sake, but for your sake. It is for your satisfaction. You are doing it. For your fondness, you are doing it. So just try to give realization to everyone, anyone who asks for it. But as Christ has rightly said, that don't throw pearls before the swine. I mean, I shouldn't use this word today on such an auspicious day, but doesn't matter. So this he has said it. Now this kind of people, who are they? They are the people who don't discern. So there is no need to give realization to every person you come across. Talk to everyone. Gradually you will meet such people who will ask for Sahaja Yoga, for realization, you give it to them. Gradually those pigs, or what you call them, whatever Christ has called them, they will evolve, I am sure, one day, and they will come to. So let us try on the first level, where there are genuine seekers of a high level. And you will be amazed how they are sorted. You see, there isn't much space in the kingdom of God, to be very frank. And we should not worry if we don't have many people over there. For us, it is a responsibility. We must have all the population of this world going up there. It's a wrong idea. That's not needed at all. You see, we should not crowd them there. Here only we can't sit, all of us, you see. We'll have to have a bigger place. So we should not bother so much as to the quantity, that the quantity is not much. Of course, we should try our level best to pass the message, because they should not say that we didn't get the message. To pass the message is all right. But we need not in any way force people or ask them to come to Sahaja Yoga or make them Sahaja Yogis. It's a difficult thing. The more you will try, the worse they will be. They'll be so troublesome that is going to be an impossible task. So in your generosity, you must have discretion, how far to go with people, how far to work it out. This is the Mahalakshmi Tattva which comes to you as a result of Sri Ganesha, who blesses you with wisdom as to how to be generous with others, where to give, what to give. The discretion starts working. You don't have to think about it. It just works out. It just works out. Discretion in Sahaja Yoga doesn't mean at all thinking or rationally coming to a conclusion, but it means that it just works out that way, in the sense that you feel it in your vibratory awareness.
Maha Mantras. Thank you, Shimataji, for all the blessing. Thank you for the opportunity to meditate collectively every day. Thank you, Shimataji. Let's bow down to Shimataji and take bandhan. We will continue our morning meditation. So please join tomorrow. Jai Shri Mata.